Welcome to the Tallen Time podcast, featuring entrepreneur and philanthropist Terry Tallen and longtime award-winning journalist Tom Brew. We'll be telling you stories from around the country about sports, business, philanthropy, and mentoring. It's a full season of podcasts right here at tallentime.com. And welcome to the show. Hello, everybody. Tom Brew here. Welcome back to episode 10 of the Tallen Time podcast. We're doing this one remotely today. Terry's in California. I'm down in sunny Clearwater, Florida, getting ready to spend a little quality family time here during Super Bowl week, and started off the last of our football-related shows this year. We're going to be happy to have former Indiana football player and current New York Giants linebacker Micah McFadden join us in the show here in just a little bit. But Terry, welcome to the Talent Time and happy 2023 to you. And it's good to see you again, pal.
Hello, Tom. It's great to see you as well. And it's nice to be shooting the podcast again. We shot them through the end of last fall and took a little break over the holidays. So we're back on track. We're shooting today between Tampa and Marin County, California. And then Tom and I will be in Los Angeles next week with the folks from New Calm.
Yep, looking forward to that very much so. So yeah, we get our old pal Micah McFadden on the show today. He's he was four-year player at Indiana like you were, captain like you were. Great linebacker, was drafted by the New York Giants last year, and got to live his dream of playing in the NFL for this year for the first year, and certainly looking forward for a long career for him. But Terry, we always talked about before, and that's why you lift all those weights for that opportunity. And you had a little pro opportunity yourself, and it just didn't work out for you health wise. But remind everybody about what that was like in Kansas City for you when you got the chance to go out there and try to live that NFL dream yourself.
Well, I trained very hard for it. It was something I worked my whole life for. As a young boy, I wanted to be a baseball player, but as time went on, it was clear that football was my sport. So, had a good career at Indiana. Holiday Bowl was a wonderful experience for myself and all of our teammates. And I did want to go on. Had some injuries my senior year. Actually, in the game that I was fortunate enough to get the United Press International's Defensive Player of the Week on a homecoming shutout against Wisconsin, I sprained my ankle, and that I missed several games because of that. Similar to what our good friend Cam Jones had this year, except he was out a little bit longer. I saw that Cam played really well over the weekend in the Senior Bowl. So went as a free agent with the Kansas City Chiefs as a middle linebacker. Long story short, went to camp. Things were going well, and I blew up my hamstring. And that was the moment when the coach, who was very favorable relationship, but came up and put his arm around me and said they were going to cut me and move on because I wouldn't be able to play for quite some time. So at that point, it was a tough blow, but sports teach you resiliency. So I didn't elect to go back out after that. I decided I'd get on with my business career, but the whole thing was a great experience on, hey, you can have these things. You think you're going to make it. It was kind of my life's work at the time outside of, studying. And then through an injury, it's taken away from you. So it's kind of that lesson that we teach about, don't let things slip through your fingers. And, but that's what happened to me, but onward and upward. And we're very proud of Micah with the season that he's had. So let's get Micah on the screen.
Absolutely. We'll do it for sure. But first, let's take a quick break here from our sponsors. And then when we come back, Micah McFadden from the New York Giants and Indiana University will join us. We'll be back right after this.
Welcome to the New Calm family. My name is Jim Poole. I'm the president and CEO of Solace Life Sciences, the neuroscience company that makes New Calm. And what is it? It's simply a technology that when you're feeling stressed or you're not sleeping well, whatever it is that life brings you, New Calm is a tool that predictably, safely, and reliably is going to take good care of you. Find a comfortable place. Put the disc on, eye mask, choose your track. You're going to lie down. What's going to happen? Your mind's going to wander. But here's how you'll know New Calm's working. You'll begin to feel your body separate from your mind. Your mind's going to wander, and your body's going to feel heavy, and your respiration's going to slow down. And you're going to go somewhere where your mind just wanders and your body heals. And then at some point, you just kind of come to. Simply take off the eye mask, stop the track, take the disc off, and off you go.
All right, welcome back to the Tallen Time podcast, episode 10. This is Tom Brew here in beautiful Clearwater, Florida. Sunny 80-degree day here in Super Bowl week, which is always nice. And very happy now to have Micah McFadden join us. Mike is over at his parents' home in Tampa, enjoying some warm weather too. We see some nice red cheeks there. It looks like Mike has been out in the sun a little bit too. Micah, how are you? And welcome to the Tallen Time show.
Hey, Tom. Thanks for having me back. Terry, great to see you again as well. But yeah, just enjoying Florida. Enjoying the off season, and glad to be on the show today.
Well, you sure deserve it. We were marking about your tan though. We're very jealous.
I'm trying to get it back. New York takes it out of you. So, So I got to get a few months down here.
Yeah. So this is going to be our pre-Super Bowl episode. So we wanted to bring you in first. What a great rookie season you had. You made a lot of big plays. I recall the play that you made against Jalen Hurts in the red zone, which was a great play. But Mike, I think one of the things our viewers would like to know is what were the biggest differences for you between college football and pro football?
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't understand how different the NFL is compared to college football, and obviously that depends on the level you play and the division you play in college, but NFL is night and day, and I think it mainly because of just the expertise and the years of experience that guys have playing in the league. You're playing against guys who have been doing it for 10, 15 years, and know the game, know all the ins and outs of not only schematically but also just technically and fundamentally. They have it down to a science. So I would say, as a linebacker, especially, the hardest part transitioning was, maybe in college, I wouldn't have to deal with the impact of the offensive line as much. And I would maybe be able to blitz and have a free run through and make a TFL or a sack or, get my plays that way. But now in the NFL, I think the biggest difference for me is, having to take on these offensive line first and being able to use my hands and being able to play physical into the line of scrimmage first and then fight off the block and make the play. And you have, obviously you play against some decent offense, some really good offensive lines in college, especially in the Big Ten, playing Michigan and Ohio State and Penn State. So you get that experience, but not every game, you see that. So I'd say that was one of the biggest differences for me, and definitely something that was a transitioning phase during camp and throughout the season.
Yeah, Mike, it's of course, I think the biggest thing for NFL players too, that rookie year is, I know you didn't play in every game, but training camp, 3 preseason games, 17 regular season games. You guys 2 playoff games as well. I mean, you add them all up, it's 22 games and plus camp. I mean, it's basically the equivalent of 2 college seasons. I mean, what was that like physically for you all the way through it, and how do you feel today here?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely a long haul. The NFL season, like you said, it's pretty much two college seasons back to back, and as a rookie playing, all preseason games, and usually by the 3rd preseason game, they're down to their final cuts, and those last few younger guys on the team are playing the whole game. So it's completely different. And I remember having a conversation with Coach Wellman actually, before I left, just about that whole process and how it's going to be different. And I just have a lot of respect for him and all the advice he gave me, going into the NFL and just helping me understand what it's going to be like and in the transitioning process. And obviously just the mindset that you have to be able to push through a season of that duration. So, obviously it's a long grind, but I really enjoyed it. Getting to know everybody in the locker room and in the facility. It's honestly just a great experience. And every day you just got to take the mindset that you're just blessed to be there and that it's an opportunity, and every new day is an opportunity that you get to go out and perform and just play the game that you love.
That's right. Now, when we all went to college, we noticed the speed of the game was so different, right? High school, it was at a certain pace, but college was much faster. Was the difference of the speed of the game greater between high school and college, or between college and the pros?
I would say high school to college is a greater difference. College to NFL, I have teammates in the NFL that I played against in college, and guys who were on Michigan and Ohio State, and guys who I remember playing against you. You were on the 2019 team, so I would say just you see speed in college, and you see how fast guys can really play in college. Whereas high school, I feel like each team may have one or two guys who have the real potential to play at a Division One or Power Five school, but once you get to that level, it's completely different. And then obviously NFL is another step, but I would say yeah, high school to college, it's a greater difference.
Yeah, Micah, I know you mentioned it just a little bit ago, but I wanted my question for you was going to sort of be like, what it was that you learned the most this year compared to maybe what you didn't know, or just how difficult it might be. And I know you brought up, like shedding blockers and that.
Mhm.
Was that like the biggest difference, just learning how to, to sort of improve your skill level and trying to shed blockers, especially in the run game and pass game both? Was that one of the biggest adjustments you had to make?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely say that was a big adjustment, just specifically in my position. But you're right. There's so many little things that you have to take, into account when you're playing in the NFL. And obviously, it has become, a passing game, and um, you know, that type of style of play is so much more important nowadays. So in my position, covering running backs, covering linebackers, being able to play man coverage and zone coverage, and just kind of feeling out the game, and knowing where to sit and where your eyes need to be. Those are all really important, and they become that much more detailed because they're very important in college as well as schematics, and coaching is really important in college. But they just become that much more important. And I think the biggest thing to take away is just everything needs to be heightened. Every attention to detail, every note you take, every film you watch, it has to be whatever you're doing in college, you got to take it to the next level. And I think that's the biggest thing that I took away. Our coaches always talk about getting into a routine, and that becomes so important during an NFL season. What we just talked about, that can last 22, 24, 25 weeks long. You got to have your routine, and you got to be able to get into a daily flow that just it's easy, it's comfortable for you, but you know what to expect, and you know what to prepare for, and then that makes the weeks fly by, and makes the game that much easier.
So that's a great point to go to another angle on this. So when your typical day, say your typical Wednesday, what's that day like? So people understand, what's a day in the life of a pro football player like on a middle of the week?
Yeah, yeah. So middle of the week is usually your grind. Your couple of days there, Wednesday, Thursday, because now you play on a Sunday. So the beginning of your week, Monday, Tuesday, one of those is going to be your off day completely, and you're recovering from. Usually a Monday you'll get into the facility, have a few meetings, go over the game you just played, but it's more recovery days. It's not hard on the body, but Wednesday and Thursday, in the middle of the week, those are your first and second down days on defense. So you're going over the team's run, and first and second down run and pass plays. So I'll probably get into the facility anywhere between 6:30 and 7, and get a workout in. That'll last about 45 minutes, just a good warm up for the day. And then obviously meetings will start about 8:30, and those can last. You're obviously going to transition from meeting to meeting, but you'll have meetings from about 8:30 till about noon, and then you have a little break period right before practice, and practice will last about two hours, and then you get out of those meetings, and you have a little break after practice, eat your lunch or whatnot, and then you have a few meetings in the afternoon as well that kind of wrap up the day and go over practice and whatnot. So the whole Wednesday, Thursday usually lasts from about 8:30 to about 5:30 in the afternoon. And those are the two longest days of the week. And when you add that up over a 20-week season, obviously they can get a little bit redundant, and you have to. That's why the routine, like I was talking about, is so important. You have to have a pattern throughout the day that feels comfortable, that feels normal, and you know what to expect. And I think the coaches do a great job of doing that, and everybody who runs a schedule in that facility does a great job. So I think that's really important at that level.
Yeah, Micah, you were a draft pick of the Giants, and obviously New York Giants have just a great football tradition, and they've been down the past few years with new head coach and Brian Dable, and you guys wound up having a very good, very exciting year. Finished 9-7-1, made the playoffs won a playoff game against the Vikings, and then lost to the Philadelphia Eagles, who are playing in the Super Bowl on Sunday. Just talk to us a little bit about just how that ride was and how enjoyable that was, and just having a winning season and turning things around, how much you enjoyed all of that with your teammates.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all know winning's the goal, and I think Brian Dable, he brought that culture and that mindset into the facility. Obviously since the first day I got there, I could tell, there was a mindset that nobody was ready to just let this thing go by without getting as much out of it as we could. I think from day one and from the very first preseason game, we're talking about winning every preseason game like it's the most important game of the year. And I think it's exciting to play for people and for a team that have that common goal and that common mindset. Getting to the playoffs, that's especially in New York and one of the biggest media markets in the world. I mean, there's nothing like that. And just the attention it brings, to the locker room, to the guys who really deserve it. It's so special to see that. And obviously we got to see it a little bit at Indiana when I played there, and Coach Allen getting the recognition he deserved, for those few years that we got to do that. But I think when it brings the attention to the guys who put in the work and who have dedicated their life to reaching a goal and making it happen and turning a team around, I think that's so cool. And it was just awesome to be a part of it, especially my rookie year.
It was great fun to watch. Saquon Barkley's very exciting to watch. It was great fun seeing number 41 prowling the sidelines out there. Michael, one of the things we wanted to ask you also, MetLife Stadium is a great stadium, neat stadium. You have a lot of history with the Mara family and the Tisch families have owning the team for almost 100 years now. So there's a whole history of the New York Giants, and when you were drafted by the Giants, that's one of the great original teams. What was the feeling like about going there versus maybe if you would have ended up with one of the newer teams, like a Tennessee or something like that?
Yeah, and I knew that the Giants had been a historic team and the Super Bowls and all that, but what happened before that and just the founding of the team and obviously what you were talking about, how long they've been in one of the original teams to ever be in the league. I think it's something special and it's something unique when you get to play for a team like that, and the Steelers or any of those great organizations who have just been around for a while. It's so exciting, and it's honestly just an honor to be a part of that culture. Our coaches always talk about just the history and the Super Bowls and the players, Lawrence Taylor, the guys who have been there and set the standard. I even get to see some of them walk through the locker room or come into the facility some days, just seeing Eli Manning eating lunch in the cafeteria with a few of the guys, or Michael Strahan walking in and doing something for the media. It's just, it's so cool, and you just get to recognize the greats, who really, we're walking on the shoulders of them because they built it, and they created the standard that we all want to hold up. So I think it's just such an honor to play for that type of a team.
Yep, absolutely, and certainly, Micah, you're not unlike many kids who grow up playing football and hoping, kind of living and kind of hoping for that dream. And certainly, like in your case, we talked about it a lot, of course, when you were at Indiana, but it wasn't like you were a big 5-star recruiter or anything. But still, when you made the most of your time in Indiana, and then there you were being drafted in the NFL, and sort of making those dreams come true. And like former Giants coach Bill Parcells used to say all the time, it's why you lifted all those weights, and like once you got there, I'm sure that had to feel good. But I kind of wanted to ask, like when I'm sure it's all digital these days, but when that first paycheck hit, what was how big was the smile on your face, and what was that like to know that you were indeed a professional football player?
I mean, it's special. Obviously, the money always helps, when you're playing this type of a game. And the first paycheck that hit for me was my signing bonus, which is usually the largest single check to hit your bank account when you're a rookie. So I think it was a few weeks after I got there, a few weeks into that OTA training camp. But yeah, I mean, it makes it all so much better. And obviously you don't want to say you play for the money, but the game offers it, and guys play for it, and it's your job now. And I think that's the realization that everybody comes to, is that this is your job and this is what you do, to support yourself and the people around you, and to put yourself in the best position possible in your life. So I think there's so many joys I can think of this past year. Getting drafted the day, when I see New York Giants pop up on my phone that they're calling me on draft day, and getting to talk to Joe Shane and Brian Dable, and just hear their excitement, and yeah, I mean, it's so special, and I'm just so honored and blessed to be in this position.
Well, and going back, you mentioned a couple of things about Indiana. I mean, you were without a doubt in my mind the finest pass rusher your senior year in all of college football. And you've done very well with that in the NFL too. Great balance, being able to cover, go sideline to sideline, and of course with the blitzing. When you travel, you go to all these different stadiums. There's been a lot of new stadiums over the past few years. I guess you guys weren't out to SoFi this year, but Tom and I have been to a number of the stadiums shooting our episodes. But besides MetLife Stadium, let's take that out of the equation. What are some of the other stadiums that really stood out to you that were just spectacular?
Yeah, so we had a few of our away games were pretty cool this year. We got to get out to Seattle actually, which was a hike, but that stadium and just the environment and the excitement their fans bring, it's definitely like no other. And I think college has its stadiums and its its venues that are just incredible. And seeing that in the NFL, it's completely different. And not that either is better or worse, but that they're just both different, but both incredibly exciting and electric in their own way. I'd say Dallas, playing in Dallas for the first time on Thanksgiving, when 48 million people are watching around the world, and you're on prime time, and it's a big game and everybody's playing. So I mean, those type of things are just so exciting. I'm trying to think. We played in London this year as a rookie, which is just it's different to do that whole travel plan and get fly out on a Thursday night and try to sleep on the plane, and then you're up the whole next day when you get there practicing and getting ready, and then flying back immediately after the game. But that venue was really cool, and getting to play in a soccer stadium with a bunch of fans who are international fans who just love the game and are so supportive of the sport, and not only doing that, but getting to play against Aaron Rodgers. All those things are so cool. And then obviously towards the end of the year, we played the Eagles 3 times in their stadium with their crazy fans. So yeah, we had a lot of fun on the road, and just traveling with the guys and getting on the plane and the locker room after the games, especially when you win. It's such an exciting feeling. And yeah, we had a great time this year with our away games for sure.
Yeah. Micah, you opened the season in Tennessee and got to see an old teammate, Nick Westbrook, there, and played 2 games with the Dallas Cowboys. And your teammate Peyton Hendershot had a great rookie year there as well. What was it like kind of seeing them on the pro field and having conversations? And did you get a chance to put a lick on either one of them?
Didn't get the lick on either of them, but definitely got to conversate after the game, and there were little mid game just passing by on the field, or running down on kickoff when it's kicked out of bounds, and I run by Peyton or something, just saying what's up or something. But no, it's so awesome when you get to see somebody you've played ball with since college, and just getting to recognize and appreciate the work that they've put in, and the time it takes to get to where we are. And obviously for Peyton and me to be in the same draft class, and just see what he's done down there, and really take his game to that level, and just making the team from where he started. It's not an easy process, and I really wanted to let him know how proud, and we both let each other know how proud we are of each other just for doing what we're doing. And it's just awesome. I actually got Peyton's jersey sitting over there in the other room, but yeah, no, it's so cool to see those guys, both Nick, and I actually saw Wes Martin because he's on the Commanders. Got to see him after the game and got his jersey. But it's so exciting when you get to see a fellow Hoosier out there on the field.
Oh, it sure is. And I mean, this is as good as it gets, right? This is the kind of the family aspect that we've all come up with in football, and that, Coach Allen really led the team in with the Leo, with the Leo hashtag and with the Leo mentality, because there was a lot of was a lot of love there when you played there, and there still is, within the program. And now to be out, one guy in New York, one guy in Dallas, one guy in Washington, one guy in Tennessee, our Hoosier players are dotting the map. Then you've got, of course, a heck of an offensive lineman down the street from you with Dan Feeney in the Jets.
Right. Yeah. No, got to see Dan too after the Jets preseason game, and that was actually the first time I met him because, obviously our years didn't overlap at Indiana, but yeah, I got to see him after the game, and Tevin Coleman. Got to introduce myself to both of those guys, and just appreciate the history and the culture that Indiana has, and there's guys who work so hard to get to that level and stay there, and it's just so awesome when you get to see other Hoosiers doing it, for a long time.
Yeah, Micah, we're you're back home in Tampa, enjoying that now, and your off season. But so what's the timeline like as we head into 2023? Then, how much time will you spend there, and when you get back to New York, New Jersey, where you're at, and in that timeline and such, we get back to work with the 2023 season that'll be here right before we know it.
Yeah, no, excited for that. Really excited for what's to come. But yeah, they give us some good time off. I'll be down here till about April 17th. Obviously working out and getting back in shape and ready to go for the next year. And so I'll be back. There's kind of some windows where you have some off time throughout the summer and whatnot. So I'll probably go up for a week and a half or a few weeks in April, and then back down for maybe a little bit, and then back up for OTAs in May and June, and then I get another 6 weeks off during the summer, which is nice. So yeah, a little bit of back and forth, but it's all just that routine that I was talking about, and preparing yourself and staying in shape and having the right mindset to to do all the training camps and all the little things that it takes to be a pro, and to get yourself ready for the year. So
that's great. And then, of course, a little extracurricular. We're going to be putting on a charity golf tournament this summer in Bloomington, and we'll be promoting that on the show, and there'll be details from that coming out also. We've got some charities in mind, and probably do a little NIL combined with it, and bring a number of former student athletes together from many generations. So I know many people are looking forward to that as well. So we'll see you in Bloomington in June.
Can't wait for that one. Can't wait to get a part. See if I can take home the trophy this year.
That's right. You and I are riding together for the first 9.
Yeah. No, we'll see who's been working on their game.
Mitchell Page is a scratch golfer, so you got to watch him.
Yeah, I'll stay away from that group for sure.
Micah, you playing with the Giants and such. The NFC East is always sort of that, always been that division with where there's a whole lot of hatred involved in those teams. Your first year of going head-to-head with the Cowboys twice and the Washington Commanders twice, and, of course, the Philadelphia Eagles 3 times, including having them end your season. Like, how quickly does that sort of quote-unquote hatred develop, and how deeply is that ingrained in you already now?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just like college, when you don't really understand maybe the Purdue rivalry or Michigan State and Nebraska Platoon or something like that. But the moment you step on the field and you feel the energy of the stadium and the other team, it's on, and there's just I wouldn't say there's a hatred, but there's something there that we don't like these guys, they don't like us, and our coaches always talk about it. This is division rival. This is at home in the division or away in the division. These games are important, and they kind of set the tempo for what the next game holds, or the next team, or just that quarter of the season that you're in. So those games are always exciting, and it's awesome to play in the NFC East, which is has so much history, and some of the greatest Super Bowl and playoff teams to ever play have come out of this division. So it's really cool to be a part of it, and it's really cool to play in those games.
Well, I guess there's a couple of questions. So how have you enjoyed the Big Apple?
I've actually really enjoyed New York. It's it's nice because we're in Jersey and it's, it's probably 30 minutes outside the city, but you still get to, you get to go visit, you get to go see all the restaurants and do all the stuff downtown that you want to do. But I have enjoyed the Big Apple and just getting out and going out with the guys or having dinner down there, or just going and sightseeing. And there's some great views from New Jersey as well. You get to see the skyline, from our facility, from the practice field. So it's pretty nice.
One of the greatest cities in the world, if not the greatest city in the world.
It's awesome. I've loved it.
Yeah. Well, Micah, as we wrap this thing up, like you said, we're filming this obviously the Tuesday before the Super Bowl. You've played the Eagles 3 times. What are your thoughts on them, and what do you think? What are your thoughts on Super Bowl 57 here?
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't want to say I want them to win after just talking about how we're rivals and how there's mutual hatred between the two teams. But I would say it would look good for us and the Giants just, to have played the Super Bowl champion, but or to have lost to the Super Bowl champion. But, I think both teams are really good. I think, obviously Patrick Mahomes should be, pretty much fully recovered from the ankle. He looked pretty much fully recovered last week after only a few days of recovery. But, I just think it's so hard to you can never count out the Chiefs. And, I don't really know who's the favorite. I think it's pretty much even. But, and then, obviously the Eagles offense, I think their offensive line is the best in the league. And as a whole, they play physical. Their receivers play physical. They have great special teams players. So I think it'll be an exciting matchup. I think defense will definitely come into play, and obviously, as it always does in the Super Bowl. But I think that will be the key to the game is who can get the stops when it means the most, especially in that fourth quarter.
Yep, I had lunch today here in St. Petersburg with one of my old newspaper colleagues who grew up in New Jersey, a huge Eagles fan, and he was bragging on and on and on about how just great that Eagles offensive line is. Of course, you had to mess with them 3 times. That's a pretty talented group on that Philadelphia offensive line, isn't it?
Oh yeah, no, and they're good across the board. Both their tackles. I know Lane Johnson was playing through an injury last week, but he looked better than ever. And then obviously on the other side they have an absolute beast with Mailata, and then Kelsey holds down the center spot there, and he's I think he is the best center in the league without a doubt, just with the way he plays and his quickness and his ability to turn guys and get to that next level. But yeah, I think they're exciting to watch. I think that's where the game's obviously starts and it finishes up front. So I'm excited to see the matchup and especially the run game. I'm excited to see which team can dominate the ground.
Micah, we really appreciate you taking the time to join us on Talent Time today. We certainly enjoyed watching you play all year long, and glad to see you survived it well. And we'll look forward to seeing you this summer in Bloomington, and look forward to year 2 with the New York Giants. So thanks much for being with us today, Micah.
Thank you, guys. Looking forward to it.
NewCom is neuroscience. It's not a fairy tale. It's not a bedtime story. There are a number of competitors in this space, and once you use NewCom, you'll find out who the real deal is. You'll benefit greatly from it. And don't be fooled by slick advertising. Go with the science. Science is where it's at.
I had 20 minutes of absolute escapism, peace. I mean, I was in like a twilight. I didn't know where I was or what was happening, but I never wanted it to end.
I can laugh with people. I don't get irritated. I don't get frustrated.
It is accessible. It's affordable. It's something that everyone can do.
Well, this is Tom Brew saying farewell for now. Thanks very much to Micah McFadden for joining us for episode 10 of Talent Time. And you can see this podcast most everywhere that we share it along, and certainly we'll be sharing it on tallenttime.com and on our Hoosiers Now page. And as you can see it on Apple, Spotify, anywhere you enjoy podcasts, you can see it all there. So please tell all your friends about it too. And this is Tom Brew for tallenttime.com. Thanks for being part of the show, and we'll see you very soon.